This case study, Journey to the Cloud for the District Council of Mount Barker, considers a cloud project from conception to completion. My name is Andrew Winter, Principal Consultant and Director of Rebbass Consulting. My business was started towards the end of 2013 with the express purpose of helping organisations understand the transformational potential of cloud and related technologies. We assess, design and execute based on each customer's unique requirements. Our journey begins in picturesque Mount Barker in the Adelaide Hills, where I first discussed cloud with the Council's General Manager David Peters and ICT Coordinator Doris Hajjan. David, with respect to the Council's journey to the cloud, can you recount for me how it all started from your perspective?
Yes, Andrew, the way it all happened, we were up for an asset renewal after a good 4 years, and last time District Council Mount Barker had a lot of difficulties with its asset renewal, and we then investigated a like-for-like solution which was pretty similar and complex. So second time round we thought about a different track we can go, and we were interested in cloud technology given a lot of literatures in the media for best practice at the moment. And so we investigated that, and we had a look at the technical solution and thought it was feasible for council, and also on a good point from an economic costing point of view, there was an attractive savings.
Thanks, David. Doris, what were your initial thoughts about cloud and how this might benefit the organisation?
I was quite open to the cloud because I prefer to actually focus on the business solutions and the outcomes of ICT, and I'm actually not interested in keeping the lights blinking. I'd already gained quite a bit of confidence with Office 365 for our project with Kokopo in Papua New Guinea, where we got to deliver a fantastic solution and not worry about any blinking lights. And the other thing for our business was I was very much looking for flexibility and agility rather than being constrained by the hardware, which was happening to us quite often.
The initial discussion started with whether cloud could be used to replace the target for the Council's DR solution. But in discussing cloud, we quickly realised that if this could accommodate production, the DR discussion changed due to inherent characteristics of cloud. After the initial discussion, we suggested embarking upon a cloud readiness assessment. The cloud readiness assessment is a collaborative consulting engagement intended to determine suitability and, as appropriate, table options. Typically, the readiness assessment identifies business benefits and risks. While cloud adoption has the ability to transform a business, any such transformation needs to align with overall objectives and be of benefit to the business. As appropriate, a roadmap and recommendations are provided. If opportunities to benefit from cloud become apparent, the high-level roadmap can be outlined, indicating how the organisation could transition. The roadmap is a sketch at this stage, not a definitive plan. As part of the readiness assessment, we took a good look at the existing environment and speculated on possible future outlay. The existing production environment at the time included 3 host servers with a fibre-attached SAN configured as a fault-tolerant vSphere cluster. This supported the workloads providing IT services. For disaster recovery, dedicated equipment and a rack at Internode, with Veeam providing replication services. Looking at this, we thought, what if we move production to IaaS? One of the aspects the Council had emphasised was the cost of infrastructure, including maintenance, and the cost of maintaining a dedicated disaster recovery site. We thought, if we put these virtual machines into the cloud, we don't need any of this. Potentially, a suitable platform could eliminate the need for warm disaster recovery. This means we can get rid of this. We speculated also how we could leverage the existing investment in Veeam in a number of ways. Firstly, as a tool to migrate to the cloud. Secondly, for backups in the cloud. And thirdly, to maintain a local archive. With the solution beginning to fall nicely into place, we were able to now sketch and evaluate a conceptual design. The Council was already pretty comfortable with Office 365, having trialled SharePoint Online internally, and being involved in rolling out Exchange Online for Kokopo. The first part of the project, therefore, could be migrating to Exchange Online and retiring Exchange on-premise. All other workloads, for the moment, would require infrastructure as a service, and the project would need to migrate existing workloads to a suitable platform. One of the benefits of IaaS being that future SaaS deployments could result in subsequent wind-down of IaaS and cost recovery. The final key component to the design was remote desktop services courtesy of Citrix. By locating virtual desktops in the cloud, the standard Council desktop would be on the same local network as business systems, with resulting performance boost. Furthermore, users can enjoy screaming fast internet performance thanks to proximity to the global backbone. With the design taking shape, we look closely at IaaS options. After some deliberation and comparison across IaaS providers, the Council chose Telstra Dedicated. This option had a number of key benefits, in particular, an end-to-end networking guarantee and a one-stop shop, and secondly, access to the vSphere hypervisor. As we will see, this became handy for migration and capitalizing on the investment in Veeam. The Council looked carefully at the suggested technical solution in the context of the prevailing business environment. Catalysts for change largely supported the case to give the project the all-clear to proceed, infrastructure and equipment due for replacement, and a realization of the need to break from the cycle of costly upgrade and migration projects. The cloud project was now cleared for execution. David, with the approval to proceed, what were some of the outcomes that the Council was hoping to achieve?
Well, one of the major things that we were looking for was mobility with the cloud, in the sense that rather than the servers just being located in Mount Barker, it was the concept of working any place, anywhere with any device. A couple of years ago, Queensland had massive floods, as we all saw the country there, and that caused mayhem through many councils in Queensland with the loss of data. With the cloud technology, we've got a bit more robustness of accessing the data should something go wrong, but also we've got a lot of our staff come from Adelaide and aren't necessarily in Mount Barker, so that mobility is really useful for us. As Doris has mentioned before, too much of my little small IT team is going on with keeping the lights on, so to speak, making sure that the servers are ticking over at the expense of being able to introduce new business solutions, new productivity software for the organisation, to push towards an emphasis to that. And the way we went about that, though, is that we just didn't rely all the service to be done by one business. We had a good teamwork environment through Redbass, as well as Telstra and Loftus. And by having those speciality companies for their areas, that contributed to a successful project.
Thank you, David. Doris, with your responsibilities around operational delivery, what were some of the benefits that you were hoping to achieve?
Very much looking for the ability to deliver business continuity and ability to work anywhere from any device. That was our primary focus from our business plan and what our staff were seeking from surveys. And from an ICT point of view, I very much needed scalability as we're a fast-growing council. So we needed to be able to keep pace with the infrastructure and being able to provision servers without running out of hardware space.
Right.
The other thing was the flexibility of moving to the cloud. Also, from what we had read and what we'd experienced at different events and with information and from our research, we found that it was also, the flexibility also provided a more economical solution.
Now we'll take a look at the actual migration project. To begin with, we see the original environment, services delivered out of the Civic Centre with disaster recovery at Internode. The first phase of the project involved migration to Exchange Online, allowing Exchange on-premise to be decommissioned. The second phase involved establishing Telstra IaaS and switching the DR target from Internode to the IaaS platform. This served two purposes. It allowed DR at Internode to be retired, and it seeded the workloads in the cloud. Doris, the switchover weekend that we prepared for was a mini project in itself. Council staff played a key role preparing test plans and gearing up for a smooth transition. Can you describe first the lead up and then the events surrounding the migration?
Yep. The lead up to the cutover, communication was very important. So there was information put out on the intranet going over the key components of what this project was about and what we were trying to deliver for the staff. And then from that information, we saw buy-in and support from our key stakeholders to ensure the best result that we could and the best outcome. We got excellent support from all the key business systems, and with their support we were able to draw up detailed implementation plans for every business system in council. It was a real team effort on the day of the cutover between Redbass, Loftus, Telstra and council, and it was the great planning that went beforehand that very much helped and facilitated that good outcome.
On the cutover weekend, we did a final synchronization of all the virtual machines to the cloud and then switched services over. During the weekend, extensive testing and the final establishment of the replication of the archives to the caching server back at the Civic Centre. With that, the project was essentially done. David, when we began the journey, it must have felt like we were setting ourselves up for a reasonable challenge, dramatically changing how IT services are delivered. What are your thoughts now, looking back over the project?
Yeah, looking back, we did a lot of extensive detailed planning, which I thought was important going up a very challenging route. But I guess it was so much so by the time we looked at the in-house solution and the cloud solution, it got to the point where the computers slowed down considerably. That really dropped the service down to council and really did make an impact. In fact, we had a staff survey that rated IT quite poorly, which sort of was stressed me out a little bit. However, once we then did follow through with the project, that went extremely smoothly because of the detailed planning in relation to the cutover that weekend. We've now done a recent staff survey where it's the dead opposite. Everybody's really quite satisfied and going very well. It wasn't without any hiccups. Some of the plans, the Microsoft email 365, for example, the CEO had a massive bucket of emails and that took a bit more time than planned and had a few hiccups on the way. But overall, other than a few teething problems, I've been very, very extremely pleased.
Redbass Consulting would like to thank these organisations. If you'd like to know more about cloud and Redbass Consulting, please get in touch. Thank you for watching.